Hello YouTube, I'm Mars 1952, and today I'm going to be putting a pair of Fender extensions on my John Deere 5085M. The instructions for this were pretty sparse, but I figured out a way to do it a little bit easier. So I put the fender up there approximately where it's supposed to go. You have a bump out right here where you can put a screw in. That's the trickiest part. So we'll just put this on here and take a pair of vice grips, put it up against the fender, and clamp it. Okay, so on this end, apparently John Deere messed up on the specs, and this nice little tab doesn't line up with this nice little bump. So they give you an M8 nut, M8 washer to go with this T25 Torx screw. It's a little bit tricky to get those to all line up. So I pull the fender out, put these spacers in there. That leaves you very little thread on that M8 screw, that M8 T25 screw to engage the plastic. So if you're not careful, you'll strip it. So I used a hand screwdriver. Just put it up in there just enough to keep it in place, not tight yet. So then on the back, I've already taken this out, but there's an existing screw, also a T25 Torx, right about here. Holds a metal reinforcement on. So you take that screw out, put your little bracket in, and screw it back in place. Okay, so when you're repositioning that screw in the same hole where the threads have been cut already by this Torx screw, you want to back the screw up a little bit until the threads drop into the same cut. And now it just dropped in. I heard it thunk. I'll do it again. Maybe you can hear it over the birds. Oh. Alright, well, it's not making any noise now. Anyway, I covered that pretty thoroughly in one of my tool tips on how to not cross thread screws. So it's right back in the same thread holes. I'll bring that up most of the way. Not quite tight. Let this fender move where it needs to go. Alright, so now, starting at this end and working my way up, you got to put 7 spring clips in. And the spring clips are barbed on one side, smooth on the other. You put the barbed side on the green fender, smooth side on the black. Now I started down here because this is a rigid fixed point, and you want the fender to fit snugly up against the green fender, the fender extension fit up against the green fender all the way up. So to make sure that happens, you start low. So there's 7 fender clips. So it's an odd number, so you can divide the space in half roughly. So the middle one goes here, and I'm going to put one close to the screw down here because that's sort of weak, and that's where the end one goes. So one in the middle. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see, how does that work out? 1, 2, 3. Right, 3 and 2 in between. So if you have one here and one here, you put 2 more here in those places. So I'm going to start right here. Now, you push it up, right up flush with the fender, and take a small vice grip and hold it in place. I'm not sure how I got along with vice grips. You could probably use clamps, but clamps are not going to be as convenient. Alright, well, I should have adjusted that before I started the film. So here, and here, and here. I want the vice grip to be fairly close, but not so close that it gets in the way. So now I take another small vice grips and Here's my spring clip. You want to position it so that the barbs go to the green, and take your small vice grips and hold it just like that. That saves your fingers for when you take your mallet. You put this up in there, and you have to whack it pretty good to get it started. Once you get it started, you take your vice grips off, drive it up the rest of the way, making sure that it's all the way up there snug. So now, do that again in the middle. I've already got a vice grip there, but this needs to be readjusted. When I first tried this, I tried to put a block of wood in here and lever them on and stuff. That just didn't work. You've got to whack them with a hammer. So this is, your tire gets in the way. My vice grips. You guys probably do not have vice grips like this, but these are great. They're I call them whale jaw vice grips. Alright, so spacing is not very good here. That one's a little difficult to get to. I can't get a good swing on it. It's important to give it a good solid whack the first time. Can't be too cautious with that. Alright. That's on. Alright, so you put your 7 clips on there evenly spaced. You come back here, tighten up this one. Actually, do this one first. Tighten this one just snug, and come back here and snug this one down, and there you go. So I'll go ahead and finish this up, and talk to you later.